Hello, everyone, and welcome back to The Rundown. I will be your host today, Craig DeLuce, coming at you from the West Coast, the left coast, behind the Iron Curtain, otherwise known as the Sierras. But as we all know, I do not do this program by myself.
That's right. My name is Mike Piroworski, coming to you live from the East Coast. That's the coast with the most, from the co-host with the most here on The Rundown. Two-way views, conservative news, Craig. Guess what day it is?
Throw Punch Thursday, bitch.
That's right. It's Throat Punch Thursday, and I'm punching myself in the throat because I'm trying to get everything set up and forgetting stuff and all that fun stuff. But we're here. I'm here. You're here. That guy's here. So we're all good.
Yeah, do it on camera. Punch yourself in the throat on camera. There you go. That's more of a Judy chop, but okay. Yeah.
Well, you know. Do you say a Judy chop? You say judo.
Judy chop.
Judy chop. Ooh, Hassan chop. Oh, good stuff. Good stuff. How is the weather out there in Florida?
Let's see. Hold on. I'll give you an up-to-the-minute update. Here we go. Let's check this. Let's see. And we'll find out. It's currently 72 degrees with 78% humidity.
Very nice. Very nice. Yeah, out here it's like 51 degrees, cloudy.
Chance of mudslide and earthquake.
Chance of mudslide. Always chance of mudslides.
Yeah.
It hasn't rained enough for mudslides yet.
Oh, you'll get there. Don't be disappointed.
I know. We always do. But I never have any mudslides near me, so that's always good. It helps when you don't live in the mountains or around a bunch of hills.
There you go. You'll get like a mud.
The only mudslide you have to deal with then is probably in your driveway.
Yep. Gotcha.
Good stuff. Got all the Christmas decorations up.
Tree up yesterday. So I think that puts us good.
The only thing we have not put up is our lights, which is odd because it was the easiest thing for us to put up. I just haven't. It's just the one thing that I'm responsible for, and I'm like, yeah, I'll get to it.
I usually do my lights in September, but that's when I take them down usually.
Oh, yeah. All you have to do is nowadays. All you have to do is change the colors of the lights, and it'll fit any occasion.
Well, that sounds yeah. That's good because you can do that with the LEDs. You can program them, right? You know.
Yes, you can now. Except if you live in a homeowners association, a lot of them demand that you take your lights down. Like within they're not allowed to be up a certain period of time past Christmas.
Oh, I love having an HOA. I don't have one here, but I loved having one because I would send them back the greatest letters.
I am not a believer in HOAs, and you and I would probably be right there with hazing the folks over at the HOA. It would be a pretty ugly sight for them.
Yeah, I remember them sending me one to cut the grass because they thought it was an inch or two too long. Listen, I work nights. Please feel free to go ahead and do it, but wait till after 8.
Well, all I know is if you decide, I mean, here's my thing. Look, I'm paying a decent amount of money for this property. It's my property. You don't get to tell me what to do on my property.
Exactly.
As long as what's going on my property ain't affecting your property, you don't like what you see, go ahead and put a fence up around yourself. I don't care.
Yeah. Don't like this, don't look here. It's that simple. Yeah.
Right. And you don't like the color I paint my house, then don't look at it.
Yeah. I got you. Yep.
I mean, I've never had that kind of problem with my neighbors. But if I did, I'd be like, yeah, just suck it. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
My house, my rules.
I'm with you. Yeah.
I don't understand why that's something we have to argue over with HOAs. We actually have an assembly member here in one of the suburbs of Sacramento. He's a Republican. And it's funny because, you can always tell the difference between when a politician's staff is running their Twitter feed and when they are running their Twitter feed.
Yeah.
And he is totally like on a warpath with HOAs. He hates them. Absolutely, positively
Good.
hates them.
Yeah.
And it is really kind of neat to see him go to war with his HOA. And
They
he's a
are.
younger dude. He's only in like his 40s, but he's a younger dude. So it's not like this is an old curmudgeon who's
Yeah.
coming up against, get off my land. It's not get off my lawn guy. He's just,
Yeah.
you
They
know,
are the bottom level organization of the Fourth Reich, HOAs. Yeah.
you know what? I would probably tend to agree with you on
Yeah.
that. Speaking of the Fourth Reich, well, okay, maybe not speaking of the Fourth Reich, let's go ahead and give let's get into the program number one. If we're talking
Right.
about Democrats, we're talking about the Fourth Reich, but we're not going to talk about Democrats. We're going to talk about a quick shout out to our sponsors. Man, that was
Yeah.
a horrible transition, but
Very,
here you go.
very, very strange segue, Craig. Very strange.
Very strange segue.
Hey, let's say hi to our friends over at Hitman Industries. That's hitmanindustries.net. Want to get yourself some AR barrels? Just a place to do it. They got rifle caliber, pistol caliber, any length you desire. Check out all their other rifle barrels and pistol barrels as well. That's hitmanindustries.net. California Republican Assembly fighting a good fight behind enemy lines. Now you can take part in California's future today. If you want to get the best in tactical concealed holsters on the market, get on over to hogholsters.com. That's HAWG holsters.com, hogholsters.com. Use the discount code The Rundown. That's all one word, no spaces, all caps. Get yourself a nice little discount. If you want the best in field gear, tactical gear, web gear, law enforcement, security, fire, EMS, they've got it all. Get your group together, get your agency together, place an order at uscombatgear.com where you can get everything except the gun.
That's right, folks. Please take a moment, visit our sponsors. All you have to do is follow the links in the description to this program. Go there, check them out, spend some money with them, and make sure you tell them it was the guys over at the Rundown that sent you. Also, want to remind you, we are doing this show live, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. 6 p.m. Eastern. If you are watching, let us know. Let us know where you're watching from. Let us know what you think about the program, unless you don't like it. Uh, let us know what you think about the topic. If you have anything to say, we encourage you. Go ahead, let us know what's up. We want to hear from you. All we ask is that it's interesting. We don't even care that you disagree with us, because actually it's better if you disagree with us, because then it gives us the opportunity to mock you.
Oh wow, is that a mockingbird?
Man, is that a mockingbird? Is that a mockingbird?
Yeah, mocking is always fun.
Mocking. Yep, always.
I have tons of fun when I have an opportunity to mock you. All right, let's go ahead and get into today's news program. And the Trump administration has announced that they have finally begun the cutting of the resources to entities, organizations, and states that are seeking to trans our kids. That's right. The Department of Health and Human Services, HHS, has officially announced they are slashing funding for access now. NBC News calls it care for transgender minors, but you and I know what it is. It's about transing the kids. It's about sexual part genital mutilation. It's about medication that will cause irreparable harm to their young bodies. Anyway, the Trump administration announced Thursday that it will begin to take steps aimed at ending transition-related care, or what the Department of Health and Human Services has termed sex-rejecting procedures for minors nationwide. Oh, that's an interesting term. Okay. The proposals, which, if enacted, would pull federal funding from hospitals that offer transgender care to minors, are the latest effort by the administration to restrict access to certain transgender care. Doctors across the country provide needless and irreversible sex-rejecting procedures that violate their sacred Hippocratic oath, endangering the very lives that they were sworn to safeguard. Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. said at a news conference on Thursday. The American Medical Association, the American Academy of Pediatrics lie that chemical and surgical sex-rejecting procedures would be good for children who suffer from gender dysphoria, Kennedy said. This is not medicine, it's malpractice. Amen. Keep saying it. Dr. Susan Presley, president of the American Academy of Pediatrics, said in an email statement that the HHS policies and proposals misconstrue the current medical consensus and fail to reflect the realities of pediatric care and the needs of children and families. What the fuck does that mean? Forgive my French.
Whoa. Whoa.
I know. Allowing the government to determine which patient groups deserve care sets a dangerous precedent, Cressley said. Children and families will bear the consequences. HHS said the Centers for Medical and Medicaid Services will begin rulemaking process to prohibit hospitals from providing puberty blockers, hormone therapy, and operations to minors as a condition of participation in Medicare and Medicaid, and to bar Medicaid funding from being used for such care. Now, Mike, the thing that got me was, and here's the thing: in the next statement, they make it kind of clear, is that they're acting as if, and they're pretending that if you are a quote unquote transgender kid, you're not going to get any medical care. And that's a lie. That is a flat out lie.
Correct. This is to stop the, going from what you were born as to transitioning to a different gender or whatever they want to refer to it as. This is not, oh man, you found yourself there and you broke your leg and you need medical care. Sorry, you're not getting it because you're trans. No, this is we are no longer going to mutilate children. This is basically what it is.
Right, because here's the thing, and gender dysphoria is a thing. There are people who believe that they were born in a different, but they were born in the wrong body. I will contend and say that it is a mental condition, it's a psychological condition, not a physical condition. And it is one of the few physical or psychological conditions that we've decided we're going to alter someone's physical body in order to accommodate it. When I say that, I mean the whole point of the puberty blockers, right, is to make sure that they don't grow up to be, so if it's a little boy, they don't grow up to get manly features, right? They still look like a child, which in their eyes they deem as feminine, right?
Right.
It doesn't make them women. It doesn't mean that they are not male. It's just the idea, and here's the thing. At the age of 12 is when they want, 11, 12 is when they want to start giving these things to kids. They act as if, oh, well, if they don't go through, if they give it to them, it's not going to have any effect. When there's study after study that shows the negative and harmful effects that it has, that in many cases, it's permanent. Osteoporosis, which is a weakening of the bones. Sterility, meaning they'll never be able to have children, permanently stunts their growth. These are all permanent effects of just the medications. I'm not even talking about castration. I'm not even talking about mastectomies. And they want to permanently alter these kids. I'm like, if you're a grown adult and you've gone through all of the psychological stuff and you decide that that's what you want to do, then you know what? You're an adult. You get to make that choice. We don't allow children to get tattoos. We don't allow, in California, we don't even allow children to go to the tanning salon with their parents' permission. But yet we're going to allow them to, permanently alter their bodies chemically and surgically.
Yeah, let's be clear on it. You said it there nicely at the end, Craig. You're an adult. You want to do something like this, okay, good on you. It's your decision. You're an informed person. The issue is doing this to kids, and not just that they're underage and not able to, legally make their own mind up for these decisions. It's that when you do it to someone under the age of 18, mm-hmm. you're stopping their normal growth process. You're changing that. So you're changing it and harming them for the rest of their lives because of a decision you're allowing them to make at 12, 13 years, whatever it may be. That's the issue. They want to make that decision the day they turn 18. That's their decision. But we're not going to let you do that to yourself while you're still in the formative years.
Well, Mike, you and I being involved in the gun rights community, we come across all types, right? And we have friends who are part of the transgender community. They're grown adults. And there's one in particular, probably know exactly who I'm referring to, who me and this person had a falling out over this, because I was like, I respect the work you do in the gun rights community, but We're talking here, and I respect your right to live your life as the way you want to live your life. But we're talking about children, right? We're talking about kids who, they don't know what they want from one week to the next, let alone is it worth altering or just or you're taking things away that they're going to be gone their entire life. They're just altering their entire life for this, for something that may be a fleeting moment.
Yeah,
And just
absolutely.
and there are people in the transgender community who are just like they don't care about that, and I just don't get it. And I don't get. All I can get is that it's once again, and it goes back to this. If I had had the ability to do that when I was a kid, then I probably wouldn't look as male as I do being transgender. That's all I can think that it is. It's a selfish thing.
It is. And listen, we also know plenty of transgender people that are in the process or completed as adults,
Right.
and their position
Right.
is the same. Don't do this to
Right.
children.
And that's my point. Yes.
Yeah.
And there's still folks we still work with, we
Yeah.
still coordinate, we still talk with, and we're good friends. And I've run, this conversation by them, and they agree. They're like, look, this is there have even been people, if you go and you talk to some people in the transgender, they'll even tell you, look, I am under no illusion that I am a woman. I choose to live my life outwardly as a woman, but I'm not a woman. I'm not a biological female. There are differences between they get that. They understand that. They're not asking anyone to deny science. They're just asking people to respect the way they've chosen to live their life.
Yes.
And I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And by the way, respecting it is not the same as agreeing with it, right?
Correct.
I respect someone's right to believe what they believe. It doesn't mean I necessarily agree with their beliefs.
Listen, I have friends that are cowboy fans. I mean, it's a great example.
Is there a pill I can take for that? Cowboy blockers.
It's to get you some cowboy blockers.
Yeah. You know what's worse about the Cowboys this year was I literally went into the year with no expectations. I was like, look, we got a coach nobody ever heard of. We didn't really do anything in free agency. We're not gonna. And then they gave me hope, and then they took it away.
See, that's like me. I'm being a Mets fan. I always go into the season with no expectations, and I'm never disappointed.
You're never disappointed. But when they, what do you do? What do you do when they give you hope? They just give you just that little bit of, or do they never give you hope?
We laugh at them. We're like, we know what you're doing.
We know what you're doing. We sainted it. Oh man, yeah, life as a Cowboy fan. Hey, but at least I get to enjoy the last few weeks of the NFL season without having to worry about hoping against hope. It's done.
Right.
All right, moving right along. Speaking, by the way, of hope, 1 million service members, or over 1 million service members, to receive a Warriors bonus. This, according to President Donald Trump. This is being reported over at Breitbart. This is once again from Donald Trump. Forgive me if I'm moving a little slow today, but I use this thing called a trackball, right, to move stuff around. And my grandson decided to knock it on the ground, and so now it's not necessarily moving the cursor as easily, as readily as I would like. So I find myself having to stall a little bit as I try to get the cursor where it needs to be. Anyway, it says here, more than 1 million U.S. military service members to receive a Warrior dividend. Okay, he called it a dividend. I called it a bonus. Anyway, President Donald Trump announced more than 1 million U.S. military service members would be receiving a Warrior dividend of more than $1,000 before Christmas. Because of tariffs, along with the one just passed, one big beautiful bill. Tonight, I am also proud to announce that more than think of this, 1,450,000 military service members will receive a special we call Warrior dividend for Christmas. Trump announced during a live address to the nation Wednesday night. In honor of our nation's founding in 1776, we are sending every soldier $1,776, Trump added, and the checks are already on the way. All right, I'm real curious. I didn't get into detail in terms of reading the article and finding out, okay, exactly which service members are going to be receiving this. But I imagine a huge chunk of them. Do you know which ones are going to be getting it?
I know that the active duties are getting it. I don't know about the reserve components.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. And listen, I this is great, right? The past 4 years, they received minimal increases in their annual pay. So this is just a little way to try and put a couple extra bucks in their pocket to make up for, uh, that the money that they didn't get. I'm not a big fan of the term warrior, by the way. I don't. I There's nothing wrong with soldiers, sailors, airmen, that kind of stuff. I mean, listen, I joined the army, Craig. I didn't join the warrior force. I don't know why soldiers not good enough anymore. So
I don't know why it's not good enough either, because the truth is that while I would most definitely hope that every member of the military is ready to be a warrior if need be, I'm happy with them being a soldier or a serviceman, because if they
yep,
don't have to go to war, that's all the better.
yep. I'm with you.
Yeah. Anyway, I think it's a great idea. I'm glad that I'm glad that he's doing it. Um, I think it's going to be seen by some as as kind of disingenuous and taking away from what he was really should be trying to do, and that is, talk up the economy, which he's trying to do. I I want to be real careful, because I know that, look, as we have a mounting debt, I've said things like the warrior dividend, or the Doge checks. I'm just like, some of these things, I'm like, look, some part of me feels like, I'm like, I realize in the grand scheme of things, it's not a huge amount of money, but I'd rather see that money going to pay down the debt. This isn't a bad use of it. I'm just saying, if I had a choice, let's not go deeper into debt. That's my only
Yep,
thing.
yep. What I'm reading, Craig, is just about 1.3 million active duty soldiers and about 174,000 reserve component, and that 174,000 will be the full timers in the reserves. So that's the active duty
Yes.
people in the reserves. So
Right. Well, exactly. And once again, this is, I think, especially when you consider the attacks that they've taken, in particular from the political left, I think it's, once again, they could do a lot worse things with the money.
yeah,
Um,
absolutely right.
I
Absolutely.
am still low belief, and I don't know if you had a chance to see his speech last night. Um, the funny thing is that a lot of the things that Donald Trump, when he talks about the economy, he's not wrong. I just think the terminology that he uses sometimes, and the way he talks about it lends people to misunderstand, right? And I think he just talks about it in once again, he talks in common everyday person terms. And I really would be, I'm like, sometimes, man, you just got to let people know, like, I don't know. I just think that he needs better. He needs to sit down and have better messaging on the economy. Keep doing what you're doing. Work on the messaging. But if folks get a
Don't
bonus,
disagree. Don't disagree. Yeah.
if folks get a bonus, not just folks. If the military members of the military get a bonus as a part of that messaging, all right, I'm good with that.
Good. Yep.
All right, update on the Brown University shooting. As it turns out, it may be linked to a shooting that took place or a murder. Let me clarify, that took place over at MIT. Here we go. Bam. All right. It says here, possible suspect identified in Brown shooting attack may be linked to MIT murder, according to sources. Law enforcement officials have identified a possible suspect in connection with the mass shooting at Brown University and have issued a warrant for the individual's arrest, multiple sources told ABC News. This comes after multiple sources briefed on the investigation told ABC News that the Brown shootings and the murder of MIT professor in Brookline, Massachusetts may be linked. The information about a possible connection between the two incidents was developed in the last 24 hours as detectives worked on both cases, compared notes, sources said. Saturday afternoon, 2 Brown students were killed and 9 others were injured in the mass shooting in Rhode Island campus. The gunman fled the scene and has not been publicly identified. On Monday night, MIT professor Nuno F.G. Lorerio was found shot in his home in an upscale Boston suburb of Brookline, officials said. Lorerio, 47, died on Tuesday at the hospital. And then they proceed to tell you nothing about what the potential link is. Have you seen anything, Mike, in the media about this particular link, about anything about what the who this guy over at MIT was?
No, I have not. The link you sent me was the first one I'd seen. They knew this was one that it wasn't an instant solve, because remember we talked about how the shooter was not there. Shooter left the scene, which made me believe this was more, like I said before, this was more criminal than a crazy person. So that now it sounds like it's coming true.
Right. I think I remember hearing something, and it may have something to do. We may have something to do with the Palestinian-Israel conflict. If I recall something that I heard, that I was heard when I was listening to the news, but clearly we're going to start to find that once again, there is a distinct motivation. This was in fact a directed, targeted. That's the word I'm looking for. Targeted assassin. I don't know. Well, I don't know if it was assassination, because until we know who the target was, we don't know if they were assassinated or not.
Right.
But I'm really looking for. I'm really hoping they figure this out, because what I don't want to have happen is, I don't want for people to engage in stuff like this and think that they can do it and get away scot-free.
Yeah.
Because that's going to embolden people. If people think, hey, there's a way I can do this and no one will ever catch me, it's going to embolden some people to do it. Not just the people who for whom it is this will be a glorious way for me to commit suicide, right? That's what I think some people who engage in this sort of stuff do, is they plan on committing suicide. They figure this is just a really kind of a way to go out in a blaze of glory.
Yep.
And I don't want. There's those folks. Then there are the people who really want to do this stuff, but they're like, the only thing that's keeping them from doing it is the threat of getting caught and killed, and or jailed, and for them to know that the possibility of them that they will always get caught, I think needs to be a thing.
Yeah. No, I agree. That's why we have the penalties up into including the death penalty on the books, right? As a deterrent.
That is what I would think. That is definitely what I would think. All right, on to our next story. This one, I gotta tell you, this one's interesting. I'll just put it this way. Trump has issued an executive order reclassifying cannabis, or reclassifying marijuana. This here being reported by CNBC. Says here, President Donald Trump signed an executive order Thursday directing federal agencies to reclassify marijuana, loosening long-standing restrictions on the drug, and marking the most consequential shift in U.S. cannabis policy in more than half a century. The order, once finalized by the Drug Enforcement Administration, moves cannabis out of Schedule I classification, the most restrictive category under the Controlled Substances Act, along with heroin and LSD, to a Schedule III classification, which encompasses substances with accepted medical use and a lower potential for abuse, such as ketamine and Tylenol with codeine. Quote, this action has been requested by American patients suffering from extreme pain, incurable diseases, aggressive cancers, seizure disorders, neurological problems, and more, including numerous veterans with service-related injuries and other Americans who live with chronic medical problems that severely degrade their quality of life, Trump said from the Oval Office on Thursday. Um, I find it very difficult to agree with a single word there that he stated. I do know people who utilize it for medical purposes, and it is definitely helpful for them. My only concern ever with this is marijuana today is not the marijuana when we were kids. It's not the marijuana of like the 60s, right? It's it's a lot more concentrated. There's a lot more dangers to it. Psychosis more and more is becoming a major thing as they have made strains more and more powerful. I just don't want to see the emphasis on the abuse of it, in particular for recreational use. I don't want to see that go away. And I'm not even against the idea of it for recreational use, but we have to understand that it is not the benign, you know, the benign drug that or the divine weed that we remember from like Cheech and Chong's Up in Smoke.
Right, right. So this actually changes very little, Craig, in the world of cannabis.
Mhm.
There's plenty of states out there, including Florida, where I am, where it's our state government is vehemently anti recreational use of marijuana. This allows, by moving it from Schedule 1 to Schedule 3, it means it has a legitimate medical purpose. That's what that
Okay.
means. It means you can now prescribe it. A doctor can prescribe it with permission now from the DEA on a prescription pad and not lose his license over this. It means that
Okay.
it may become actually more regulated. There'll be a lot less of these cannabis shops, come get your drug ID card kind of nonsense.
Mhm.
It'll have to be prescribed via a doctor with a DEA license number. So it may even become more restrictive there, because now you're going to have all the people that have a lot less of the people that go, oh, it hurts when I do this. Well, here's some marijuana. That stuff will be gone. It'll be actual medical
Mhm.
conditions where they get to use it. As far as recreational use, still illegal.
Mhm.
That's still illegal on the federal level. This is just going to make, again, the use of medical is going to become probably more regulated nationally, and those people that are getting the medical marijuana uh, will be able to travel, Craig, from one state to another with it now as well. If they have a legitimate prescription, they can't just be sick in one state and not take their medicine with them to a different state, or get that prescription refilled somewhere else. So this changes very little. In fact, it probably even ramps up the enforcement a little bit more of the actual prescriptions for it.
So here's my question, because one of my biggest concerns in places here like California, where because it's Schedule One, it's very difficult for them to get to become banked. In other words, you can't open a bank account as a business that's engaged in the production in the growing, manufacture, creation, or selling of Schedule One drugs. By switching it to a Schedule 3, will they now be able to will they be able to get banked? Will they be able to now stop being a cash only business? Because I'll tell you, that's one of the things that worries me. In the area where I live, we have like 27 cannabis licenses, like between growers and distributors and all of that, right? The problem is that because they're cash businesses, these places are prone to get robbed.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'd like to see them not have cash on hand, and like to be able to be like, because once again, if they wind up at the wrong house, wind up where they're down the street from a school, I don't want to see kids winding up or neighbors winding up in the middle of a shootout because someone got robbed.
Yes, your answer is yes. Again, remember, Schedule 1 means no legitimate medical purpose. Schedule 3 means now legitimate medical purpose, which means you have the support and backing of the federal government, which would include the backing of FDIC and all the banks, and the banks no longer have to worry about
Okay.
not taking it with you if you have a legitimate license to distribute or manufacture for the medical industry. It
Right.
doesn't change, again, doesn't change anything else on a user level. This doesn't mean you could show up high at work or take drugs and do whatever else. It's all the same. You're still going to get
Okay.
drug tested for use. If you don't have your card, you're in trouble. It's just like showing up to work drunk. It's the same thing.
Well, I got to tell you, it sounds like a game changer. Like I said, in particular, I think for some of these businesses that literally you got people who just want to run. They want to run a legitimate business. They've been doing this for a while. They've been really taking a risk as a as a cash only business. And I think
Oh,
this really is going to help them, and help make the neighborhoods in which they are located much safer.
yeah. And again, this is going to get rid of a lot of the phony, people that prescribe this.
Mhm.
All of the, I got my 2-year counselor's degree from community college, so I'm gonna now prescribe weed to everybody I know. Well, that's gone now. The DEA is going to say you must be an MD or a DO or a nurse practitioner to prescribe this stuff, and you must have a DEA license number.
Well, there you go. There you go. That used to be a big business here in California before they finally just approved it for recreational use. Anyway.
Yeah.
All right, folks. Well, that now brings us to our parting shots. Parting shots are brought to you by Hog Holsters. Just go to hogholsters.com. Use the discount code The Rundown. All caps, no spaces, one word, just like it is, right up there. And get your Hog Holster today. Our parting shots are brought to you today by our friends over at the Babylon Beef. Fake news that you can trust. The first one here. Democrats blast Republicans for trying to put hardworking genital mutilators out of business.
How dare them? How dare them?
How dare they?
Yep.
Well, and he's not the only senator, by the way, that's speaking out to show solidarity with trans kids. Cory Booker to get his vagina removed.
Listen, some surgeries are just not possible.
Some surgeries are just not possible.
Yeah.
And then finally, they still got the folks over there, the National Guardsmen over there in Washington, D.C., and it is going just great. In fact, Trump reduced D.C. crime so much, police chief resigns out of boredom.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Could be worse. Could definitely be worse. All right, sir. Well, hey, that's we're about done with today's program, which is a good thing. But before we go, we're gonna give a quick shout out to our sponsors.
That's right. Let's say good day to our friends over at Hitman Industries. That's hitmanindustries.net. Get on over there, check out their specials. Got plenty of stuff going on for the holidays: rifle barrels, pistol barrels for your ARs, as well as all different other kinds of firearms. That's hitmanindustries.net. California Republican Assembly fighting a good fight behind enemy lines. Now you can take part in California's future today. And if you want the best in field gear, tactical gear, web gear, law enforcement, security, EMS, whatever it may be, get your group together, get your agency together, place an order at uscombatgear.com where you can get everything except the gun. All right, Craig, now quiz for you.
Okay, quiz.
What day is tomorrow?
Oh, tomorrow's Free for All Friday.
There you go, Friday. Just want to make sure you said you've had some day of the week problems this week. I just want to make sure you were good.
Yeah, it's been a week, folks. It has been a week. It's been a good week. At times, it was a short week. At times, it was a long week.
That's right. Yeah. Yep.
But it has been a week, but we're having a good time. Want to say thank you to American Crossfire for tuning in again. We always appreciate it when you give us a shout out. Hey, do us a favor. Wherever you watch the program, do us a favor. Recommend us to your friends. Let them know. There's tons of places to watch us. Wherever you have a social media account, just about you can watch the program. Encourage them, like, share, subscribe, and encourage them to encourage their friends to do the same. We're going to go ahead and wrap it up now. We will be back mañana, Free for All Friday, having a good time. Till then, y'all have fun, stay safe. We'll see you then. Peace out.